Hi curious mind, the change makers of tomorrow. We are ready to begin with grade 3, chapter number 7, that is analogy and classification. Now the question arises, why do we study analogy? Whenever your brain needs extra energy beyond your thoughts, you need to do certain questions which always create curiosity to understand why. Oh, really? And this is what you are going to do here. So we could see Sameer is having certain stamp collections and they are sharing with his friends, and the friend is very excited to look at the album, and immediately he wants to pin out the one which is odd one out, and he says that I think it's Bhagat Singh stamp because he was not a scientist. So here Amit is showing his album of stamps to Sameer, and Sameer immediately points it out that here the stamp of Bhagat Singh is different from others because others all are scientists. So this is how your brain start thinking promptly in different direction, and you could find the spark of thoughts and ideas coming in your mind which will definitely make you different from another, and that is the only purpose of doing the questions based on analogy. Children, analogy could be based on alphabets, it could be based on numbers. Sometimes we have analogies related to the different objects that are around you, and we have to just create the relation that how these things are related to one another. And when you talk about classification, it is the process of selecting the odd one out and putting them in one group. So here if you could see, you have to analyze that what figure will come here. You have to create a relation that here in the circle we have a square, but the colors are just changing. So same pattern is followed here, and here we come with the conclusion that we will have a pentagon, and inside a pentagon will be a triangle, but this triangle will be of red color and pentagon will be of blue color. So we say that C is the right answer. So every time you have to find the reason and analyze, that will help you to come to the right conclusion. Look here, we have 3 vessels, so we say that this one is the odd one. Coming to the next figure, we could see we have 3 flowers, so we say here grapes are the odd one out. And what do you find here? We could see, yes, we have 3 junk foods, and how can this healthy vegetable be the part of it? So we chalk it out as a odd one out. Now what is an analogy? So we say an analogy is a comparison that is made to show how two things are similar, either for explanation or for clarification. So the analogy identifies how they are figuratively similar. So we move ahead, we talk about tree and leaf, then we say flower and petal. As tree has leaves, similarly flowers have petals. Moving ahead, let's take like is related to love, similarly dislike is related to hate. And talking more about time is money. So when you say time is money, you are creating a simulation of analogy. That means like you don't waste money. Similarly, time should not be wasted. Like you, every time it's your choice whether you want to spend time, whether you want to save time or you want to waste time. The same thing is applicable with the money as well. Moving ahead, we have a question like river flows, what is stagnant? And we immediately say pool is the right answer. And further, we have a sequence of number 196 is to what? Like 563 is to 7. So now if I add 5, 6 and 3, we get 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. In the same way, if I add 1, 9 and 6, we get 16. Let's divide 16 by 2. What do you get? Perfect. 8 is the right answer. Moving ahead, I take another example. There is a certain relationship between the pair of figures on either side of colon, and you have to identify the relationship. So see, here T is at 20th position. That means when you count alphabets from A to Z, T takes 20th position. The question is, what is the position of L? And I say L comes at 12th position. So the right answer is C. Let's take more example, which is quite different. You have to chalk out the odd one pumpkin. So we say this is J, K, M. We add 1 to J, that gives you K. Add 2 to K, that gives you M. Further, N plus 1 is O and O plus 2 gives you Q. So then we have D plus 1 is E and E plus 2 is G. But here we say plus 1, R plus 1 is S and S plus 1 gives you T. That means this is not following the order which is followed in other 3 images. So we say D is the odd one out. And let's see what comes in the bucket of your exercise now. Lion, flesh, cow. What is the food of cow? We say it's grass. So did you understand the connection? You have to create a relation. That relation could be from anything around the globe, and you have to identify how the first relation is created, and in the same way we need to create the second relation. These relationships could be in the form of numbers also. We say 4 is to 8. So we say that double of 4 is 8. What is double of 12? We immediately come with the answer 24. And in the same pattern, you have to check what relation makes 9 and 81. The same relation has to be identified here. Further, we come across the questions of figures. So when you start doing these questions, your brain and eyes have to create a proper coordination which will help you to understand how the first and the second objects are related to each other, and then you will be very easily able to solve the questions which are given here. Now coming to a brain twister, we could see a tree filled with the apples, and the question is, you have to complete this analogy, and every time you find a relation, you have to color that apple red. And once you color all the apples, you will have to find out which of the apples are still not colored. So let's try doing it. Wool is to sheep, so honey is to bee. Let's take crayon and start coloring them, and you will have fun doing them. Once the entire activity is done, I say hooray!